Time for trial number 3. So, before I completely begin this, it's mostly for, well, I guess it's for both Twitch and YouTube. I actually just got a new job, and most of my shifts I start at 4 a.m. Normally I start recording this around 10 p.m. and I go for 2 to 3 hours. I can't do that anymore. I will try and do this as much as I can now, but those 3-hour segments where I go through the whole daily life and then the investigation together in one, might have to start splitting those up. So, just a little heads up before I get going. And actually, I think I can only stream 1 day a week now, because I have off on Saturdays and Tuesdays. Tuesdays I have to take my daughter to daycare to get on the bus. Saturdays, yes, I have to get up with her, but not as early. I could sleep in a little bit. So, might be able to stream Friday nights from now on. We'll have to see how that goes. Because if I'm too tired, I might just pass out and not even bother trying. Whatchamacallit, I am going to start recording YouTube videos again, just because I won't be able to stream as much. Alright, enough of my spiel, let's get going. Everyone heard Monokuma's proclamation and they gathered by the red door. Oh yeah, we have to figure out who murdered Hifumi and Taka. As soon as we're all there...
Monokuma appears!
Hello, hello, hello. He multiplied?
Wrong!
No, not multiplication. It just looks that way because it's of an illusion. I'm moving so fast it looks like I've multiplied. Can you guys tell which one is the real Monokuma?
Whew.
Can we just get on the elevator already?
Boy, tough crowd.
You're not playing long.
Stop talking.
We're not here to play with you.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
Hey!
Then if everyone's here and ready to go, please board the pain train or elevator. I'll see you guys down there.
Let's go.
Oh, excuse me. Okay then, shall we?
Please!
Hold on, I'm not mentally prepared yet.
What the heck?
You'll never be mentally prepared. You can't run away can't run away anymore, Hiro. You're gonna pay for your sins.
What the heck?
Told you already, I didn't do it. For serious. That reminds me. Did you ever find the other costume or the note? Well, no, but how unfortunate. Then it would seem we have our culprits.
Hey.
This isn't the place to talk about it. Save your accusation for when we get to the courtroom.
That's right.
She's right. Let's get down there first. Then the story can really begin. Yeah, good idea. That's right. I have to do it. I can't let whoever killed Hifumi and Taka get away with it. For everyone who's still alive. And for the 2 that lost their lives. Hifumi twice, technically. The one who killed Hifumi and Taka, the one who killed 2 of our friends. The killer is... someone right here. Screw you guys, I'm going on the elevator. Took one least... My God, what is going on tonight? I took one last deep breath and exhaled slowly. I think I need to do that before reading. I began to walk toward the elevator. Once everyone was aboard, the doors closed on their own, and the steel box began to move. It's looking pretty empty. The clunking of the elevator kept us company as we fell further and further down. I like how, if you look in the lower left-hand corner, Sakura's standing right behind Hiro. Like if he tries something, she's gonna grab him. There was no going back. Until we settled all this, we couldn't go anywhere. That was the sound of a kitchen timer, wasn't it? Okay. I'm not sure how long it was before the elevator finally came to a stop. The elevator doors slid open, and opening up into a cruel fate. Oh, it's changed. Well, I see when I see you all gathered together like this, That's just how few of you are left. Your school life is slowly reaching its climax.
Just the worst.
Only because of you. Why? Why do you make us do cruel things to each other?
What?
What? Do you really hate me so much? But I'm so cute.
Come on.
Stop goofing around and begin the trial. Don't rush me. First, I'm going to start it. I would never be like, stay tuned for the action-packed class trial at this commercial break.
Yahoo!
I'd never hold on to you like that. Okay, let's begin. Get to your assigned seats. He might, but I did. And so the curtain opened once again. A deadly judgment. Oh. I'm not reading this every time. It's a deadly everything. Yeah. I already saved it. Set skills. Do I have any more? Extraordinary focus. Increase focus gauge for 2 effective. What else do I have? And ambidextrous. Allows you to lock onto 2 statements at once, effective during bullet time battle. Why not? I have the points since it's all I got. Since it's been a few days, let me see what we got. Okay, the blue tarp that we found. Repository dolly that had run through it. Hifumi who died twice. A spotless hammer in the repository. The repository door that was locked and then unlocked. The equipment room where the dolly rolled through. Hifumi... I'm assuming that's Hifumi's glasses cleaner since he had the same camera. Celeste account. Yasuhiro's note. Robo Justice costume. His account. Broken... Taka. I gotta remember. Kiyotaka is Taka. Scrap of paper. And the note Hifumi had. So these two go together. And... e-handbook. Okay. All rise.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results.
I'm thankful for the class trial just because I don't have to read as much.
If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one,
We all go shing.
then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Now then, to begin with...
Wait. Hina's gonna hop in and accuse Hiro.
We already know who did it.
So predictable.
Was that?
It was Hiro. He does not have an alibi for when the murders took place, and we found him in that suit.
But it wasn't Hiro.
Don't try and deny it! You killed them!
I didn't! Someone knocked me out! I was asleep the whole time! I don't know anything about it!
He's too stupid to have committed such an elaborate killing.
Shut your murdering mouth, murderer!
Who are you calling a murderer?
I am sorry to say, Hiro, but we do have evidence. Blueprints for the suit.
But not his handwriting.
Parts we assume were used to build it. And all of it was found in your room. You have to admit, the evidence is quite compelling. It points to you as having created the suit and wearing it while committing crime after crime.
The evidence is planted,
How
though.
many times do I have to tell you? I don't know!
Is Hiro really the killer, or... Before anything else, we have to make that clear. What do I get? Yasuhiro's message. Okay.
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you
I'm
are
guessing that's
the
going to
culprit.
be the one.
I don't know anything about that stuff! It's not true! It's a conspiracy!
Hiro, why? Why did you kill them?
No! Just hold on a second!
Okay, so it's the blueprints where I shoot the message. I mean, look at the blueprints. The handwriting is awful messy. Remember right, Hiro's handwriting is...
Everything
okay.
we found in your room. The blueprints,
The suit parts.
I just do the focus just to make it easier to shoot it. Don't have to, I know.
Are we sure Hiro really made those blueprints?
What do you mean?
Well, take a look at this.
Apologize.
It's the note that Hiro wrote, asking everyone to meet up after Alter Ego disappeared.
I don't think we should be talking about that in front of Monokuma.
The handwriting's obviously different, wouldn't you say? When you compare it to the blueprints.
Looks like a kid wrote the blueprints.
There's no way you could think the same person made both of them.
Unless that person made it a point to disguise their handwriting.
That's pretty hard to do.
No, the differences are bigger than that, I think.
Thank you, sucker.
Come on! I'm not smart enough to think of trying to change my handwriting anyway.
It's honestly hard to change your handwriting. I've actually tried before.
So Makoto, are you saying you don't think Hiro's the culprit?
No.
And he's not the only one. I think Hiro's innocent as well.
Oh, thank you, Byakuya.
What?
Then who was in that Robo-Justice suit? Is it like Hiro said? Was there really someone running around in a second suit?
The suspicious individual hidden within the suit. Go ahead, Makoto. Tell them who it was.
And of course he passes off to me.
So? Who was in the Robo-Justice suit?
And question, the one that must have been in the suit, it was Hiro.
I got it! Other than Hiro, I can't think of anyone else it could have been.
But there wasn't...
Obviously, he was the one in that particular suit. And we never found any kind of second suit.
Then there can be no doubt. Hiro is the prime suspect.
That doesn't make any sense. You just said Hiro didn't do it.
It makes perfect sense. Hiro was the suspicious individual in the suit, but he's not the culprit.
So what you're saying is...
That's right. The culprit in this case has nothing to do with being in the Robo-Justice suit.
What? Now that's a bold assumption.
And what reason do you have to make such a statement? You do have a reason, yes?
There's gotta be a reason somewhere.
Of course. But before we get to that,
He's gonna make me figure
there's
it out.
something else we need to clarify first. So let's get that out of the way.
There is.
Hey, stop trying to boss us around.
Not like you're doing anything useful.
All things have a proper order.
As much as I hate him, he does have a point. If you don't do things in a certain order in a trial, you're gonna get really confused and lost.
So what is it? What needs to be clarified?
We must clarify the method of transportation for Taka's lifeless body. It would seem that his corpse was moved using certain particular items.
He was wrapped up in the tarp and then thrown onto the dolly and wheeled.
Makoto, can you tell us what they were?
Yes, I can. The things were used with Taka's body. They must have been...
I got it!
There's still one more thing. That one must have been... And the
I
dolly.
got it! They were a dolly and a tarp, right?
Yep. What's with the attitude?
So, let's see if I can explain. Taka's body disappeared from the equipment room, and then we rediscovered it in the repository. And when we found it for the second time, it was wrapped in a blue tarp, right?
Exactly. And it had blood on it.
It was the same tarp that, up until then, was stored in the equipment room.
And I remember looking at that, and there was 3 of them there.
So the killer must have seen it there, and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body. That way, they wouldn't leave any bloodstains while they were moving it.
But they did.
Okay, that explains the tarp. And the dolly?
Same thing. I'm sure the dolly was in the equipment room when we first found Taka's body there.
Yep.
But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly. Later, when Taka's body reappeared in the repository...
Did we actually find the dolly? Yes, we did.
So
Yeah, there
did
was.
the dolly.
Okay. Couldn't remember that
In
part.
other words, you think they used the dolly to move the body. Am I right? But are you sure you are not mistaken?
100% because there's blood on the wheel.
Huh?
Are you absolutely positive the dolly was in the equipment room when we found Taka's body? That
Yes.
dolly was made specifically for moving large objects between the repository and the art room. It would be very strange indeed to discover it had made its way to the equipment room. Is it not possible that it was in the repository all along, and you simply didn't realize it?
Yes, because it had blood on the wheel.
She's raised an objection. How do you respond?
There is no shame in being wrong. Nobody expects much from you anyway.
Listen here, you little so-and-so.
We have all accepted the fact that you rarely understand what is going on around you.
Hey, oh. Well, I've never heard anyone sound so nice while being so mean. Maybe I can change your mind. If I can just explain to them why the dolly must have been moved to the equipment room to the repository. Oh, crap. Let's talk about reloading. Starting with this next bullet time battle, we're going to add one more ingredient to the recipe. On the bottom of the screen, underneath the tempo marker, you'll see your ammo count. Up until now, there really hasn't been a limit on how you destroy your opponent's statements. From now on, just locking on and pressing the triangle won't be enough to handle them. It will cost you 1 bullet to destroy a single remark. Once you're in the bullets, you can't destroy any more statements, no matter how locked on you are. However, you can reload by pressing the square button. Just like locking on, you'll have to press the square button in time with the tempo marker. Basically, just remember the square now has a function along with the X and square buttons. Now, you can reload at the start of fever time if your ammo will not decrease. Can't tell if you can ignore everything I just said. What? Moment of truth, we're not at the end yet.
You have it wrong! I cannot agree! You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. Away with you. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst, you miserable wretch. You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. Away with you. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Lies will get you nowhere.
I can't do it.
I cannot agree.
This should prove it.
Oh my god, I hate that tempo down. Oh my god. That was terrible. Well, why did we have that?
If you're asking for proof that the dolly moved, I have it right here. When I found the dolly in the repository, one of the wheels had a blood stain on it. There was a pool of blood in the equipment room with a tire mark in it that matched the dolly wheel's tread. The killer probably rolled the dolly through the blood on accident as they wheeled the body out of the room. And as the blood dried on the tire, they moved the body into the repository. So there's my proof that the dolly was used to move Taka's body.
Jeez, does Celeste really hate me that much?
Well, anyway, that was just something we had to get out of the way. Let's get back to the main subject.
So it's been proven.
Yeah, the subject of how Robo Justice didn't do it. Because if it's not a killer robot, then what kind of robot is it?
Oh, good lord. The robot had nothing really to do with it. It was probably a distraction.
I'm not sure that really matters.
I'd be happy to explain why the occupant of the suit couldn't possibly be the killer.
Besides the fact that he's inept.
If you look back on how the body was transported, it will become immediately obvious.
So look at the body was moved. It'll be clear why the person in the suit couldn't... Oh, he couldn't bend over. What does that mean by that? Oh crap, who was it? Robo Justice Customer. Yeah.
As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room.
Yes, sir.
And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp,
Yes.
then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
Now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
Well, yeah, but even without a handle,
Here it is.
all you'd have to do is bend over.
Oh, he...
No, that's wrong.
As soon as you started saying that.
You're absolutely right that you could push a dolly without a handle if you stoop down low. But if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could actually get into a position like that?
What do you mean?
think back to what you said when we were all checking out the suit together. Remember?
She should be the one that remembers. She's airheaded. I'm as blind as a bat in here. I can't see my feet at all. I'm surprised I got anywhere in this thing. I'm telling you, it wasn't me. And not to mention, totally can't bend at the waist. Seems like a pretty obvious oversight.
When you're in that suit, not only can you not see your feet, but you can't even bend at the waist. Am I right about that?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
Oh, Hina.
It seems like it'd be awfully hard to push that dolly if you couldn't bend over.
On the contrary, if they had taken off the suit before then, they could have easily done it.
Well, what's to stop you from simply pushing the dolly with your feet?
That'd be hard.
When you can't even see your feet? You really think someone could kick the dolly all that way?
No.
Yeah, it'd be totally impossible. Not that I can say for sure myself.
Oh, shut up, Jill.
On top of that, if you were wearing such a rigid, cumbersome suit, it's very unlikely you would have the dexterity to go about wrapping the body in a tarp.
Yep.
Well, I mean, isn't that just a matter of taking off the suit when you're ready to move the body?
There's absolutely no chance the costume was taken off before because you can't take it off by yourself. Oh, that's
I
right.
don't think taking off the suit was an option. If you remember...
It had something in the back. I'm all over this thing, but I can't actually get it off. Will help. Why was doing something you can't take off yourself? I didn't make this stupid friggin' thing. There's a clasp in the back that's keeping you from getting it off. Looks pretty sturdy. I don't think you can get it off on your own. You don't really have a choice. Let's help him.
That's true. It seems impossible to put the suit on or take it off without help.
Then, you really can't take it off by yourself? Hiro wasn't just making it up?
Oh my god, she caught on.
Of course I wasn't making it up.
If he could have gotten it off by himself, I don't think he would have let us see him wearing it.
That's true.
Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect him.
Told you, not the most obvious suspect.
Yeah, that's right.
Apologies.
So, it's really, really true that Robo-Justice couldn't have moved the dolly?
Oh my god.
To be clear, whoever did move the body, it couldn't have been Hiro in the robot suit, correct?
No,
Correct.
wait. Just a second, if you please. Have you forgotten about the picture that I took? You all got a good look at it, did you not? The image of Hifumi being dragged away by Robo-Justice? If whoever was in that suit is not the culprit, how do you explain that? Besides, do you remember what the now deceased Hifumi said?
How did you get hurt? That guy hit me. What guy? Robo-Justice. That's what I decided to call him just now.
So long as those facts exist, the proper conclusion is beyond question. The individual inside the suit and the culprit are one and the same. It was Hiro, without a doubt.
There's plenty of doubt.
Yeah, that's gotta be right.
Oh my god, Hina, shut up.
Hold on a second.
It's still far too early to reach that conclusion.
Thank you.
Besides, there's no hurry to decide who did it. Before we rush to a verdict, shouldn't we explore every single possibility? Instead of seizing on one viewpoint, the truth is uncovered by analyzing things from every angle.
I got a ton of evidence I haven't used yet,
Perhaps, but where do we go from here?
Let's review this series of unfortunate events from the beginning. Maybe we'll uncover something new.
I pressed X too quickly, but Sakura and Kyoko had the freaking same pose there for a second.
What a pain in the ass!
Just like you.
I don't disagree, but our lives are on the line. If this is what it takes, we have to do it.
I like Sakura.
Plus, maybe we'll get to find out where the heck Kyoko was when everything went down.
All right then, let's take another look back at what happened. I suppose we could start with this morning.
Yes.
4 of us gathered together in the dining hall. Makoto, Hina, Kyoko, and myself. We
Okay.
waited there for quite a while, but nobody else showed up, so we went to look for everyone.
And this is where everything gets messy.
That was around 8 a.m.
And as soon as we split up, Kyoko went missing.
Soon after that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room and quickly came to get Makoto and me.
Yes.
It seems I was unconscious for about an hour after I was attacked by my mystery assailant. I know it was an hour because I remember being attacked a little after 7.
But how do you know there was no clock in there? Was there? Was there a clock in the rec room?
That was when we saw Celeste's picture and
I guess that
discovered
works
that
too.
her assailant had been wearing a strange costume.
I just think it'd be weird that you remember the time you were attacked.
As it turns out, it was Robo Justice.
Robo Justice.
It also soon became clear that this same Robo Justice had abducted Hifumi.
I don't know, something about this part gets me. Because if Hiro could barely move in the Robo Justice suit, how would he been able to abduct Hifumi like that? As big as Hifumi is, I don't think Hiro would have been able to abduct him like that.
We were soon joined in our search by Byakuya and Toko, and then went on to find Hifumi in the library.
Where he had been hit.
He was injured, so we took him to the nurse's office and resumed our search for the suspect. But not long after leaving the nurse's office...
What's wrong? I saw a shadow, something moving around at the top of the stairs.
When Celeste told us that, we decided to split up and search the second floor. And soon after that,
I saw someone moving around on the 3rd floor, and I yelled out to everyone as soon as I did.
Okay. Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him, that strange costumed man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down into the hallway and disappeared.
and then...
Oh, good lord. Yeah. Huh? What was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been... Hifumi. He's in the nurse's office. This is bad. Come on, we have to go back.
At that point, we decided to divide up into 2 groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office, while Sakura, Byakuya, and Toko chased after the suspect.
I pressed X too quick.
When we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi, dead. And that's when we heard the body discovery announcement. I left Celeste and Hina there and headed back to the 3rd floor, to let the others know what had happened.
Meanwhile, we had just discovered Taka's body in the equipment room. We must have found both bodies at almost exactly the same time, because we heard the same announcement not long after we discovered his body.
We killed Taka the
And
first
that's
time.
when I told you
Or
guys
killed
about
him.
Hifumi. Then the 3 of us headed for the nurse's office. But right after we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste, who'd arrived after us. And she told us something very surprising.
Something seems to be up with Celeste, because she keeps appearing in this conversation, now that I think about it. Hifumi's body has disappeared.
We rushed back to the nurse's office and saw that she was right.
Then we remembered we'd left Toko passed out in the equipment room, so we hurried back again.
This can't be happening. Are we hallucinating all this or something?
But when we got there, we discovered that now Taka's body had also gone missing. Next thing we knew, we were searching the school for 2 missing dead bodies.
Cannibals. I know
And
that, but
after some time,
we rediscovered
Celeste
them.
informed us that she'd found the bodies, and we all headed to the repository, which is where we rediscovered the corpses.
I think that about covers it.
I see. The whole thing sounds exceptionally complicated.
You know who did it, don't you, Kyoko?
It certainly seems to me that these are not a simple series of connected events.
Okay, well, if that's true, then what?
Rather than a single series of events, I think we have to consider each murder a separate situation. And from there, we can uncover the contradictions surrounding all of them. Now then, let's get started, beginning with what happened to Taka.
Contradictions hidden in what happened to Taka. In order to uncover the truth of this case, I have to find them no matter what. Make your arguments. Monokuma file number 3. Okay, what is Monokuma? Cause of death Rachel's bullet to the head is thought they were both killed with a similar weapon. I might have to copy
Regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
No? Ah, crap.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer.
Okay. How does this help? It's both that they were killed with a similar weapon. So I have to copy someone.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
Samus were numbered, but were they really used in that order?
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were
It's triangle.
killed in. Taka came last.
Nope.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
No, that's wrong.
Aha. Yeah, because Monokuma File 3 didn't have anything really to any of that.
Hold on. There's no reason to assume that the hammers were used in the same order as their numbers.
That was just to throw us off, wasn't it?
If anything, that's just another way the killer tried to disguise their actions.
Makes
So
sense.
you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order, but in reality, Taka was killed before Hifumi? Okay then, let's see the proof.
What does it prove Taka was killed before Hifumi? There's something that relates to what time he must have died. His broken wristwatch. How long? Yes, wristwatch. S W A C C and A. Wristwatch.
Now I understand.
That was easy.
I got it. Taka's wristwatch. See? Look. It broke with the hands pointing just past 6 o'clock.
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer, because as of last night...
It worked just fine. Hey, you! How long do you keep us waiting? Taka's irritated voice pierced the air as he stared pointedly at his wristwatch. It's almost 10 o'clock, you know that? Bedtime for all the little boys and girls.
So if it wasn't broken after 6 last night, then he must have been attacked around 6 this morning.
And that would be his official time of death.
But if that's true, then he was killed well before Hifumi.
And before Celeste was attacked this morning, which happened around 7.
That's right. Taka was killed before any of the other incidents took place.
Well, there goes my idea of Taka being Robo Justice. I had in my head.
That simple fact slipped past all of us. We
Yes,
made
yes,
the
it
wrong
did.
assumption about the order of events, all because of those justice hammers.
That's exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer and had them increase in size. That way, when we saw how they were used in each incident, we'd easily make that wrong assumption.
Now, if Taka was killed around 6, then everyone's alibis for his murder go out the window.
Makes sense.
Because when he was killed, we hadn't met up in the dining hall yet.
That may be true in the case of Taka's murder. But all of our alibis still hold true for Hifumi's death.
But when was Hifumi actually murdered?
That's right. With him, at least, we're all safe.
Yeah. Huh? What was that? They came from downstairs. It must have been. If only he's in the nurse's office, because we have to repeat this so many freaking times.
When we heard Hifumi screaming, we were all together. Except for Hiro and Kyoko. Then we all ran down to the nurse's office, and that's where we found his body.
Look at those skinny little legs compared to his huge body.
That's totally true! We're all in the clear!
Oh, I know! They must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something, then played it later on!
But he was there in the office.
If that's true, where's the tape?
I don't know.
Don't just go making stuff up!
Thank you, Hina.
Anyway, we all have rock-solid alibis for when we heard Hifumi scream.
I don't know. The one that I saw. This. However, in the next thing, the process completely clean. I don't think he was actually dead in the nurse's office. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. Haha.
Since all of us were there together, clearly none of us could have killed him.
And it does not stop there. There was also the moment when we discovered his body had disappeared. When his body vanished from the nurse's office, Hina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else was in the equipment room, correct? And then
Yes,
there's
ma'am.
the disappearance of Taka's body from the equipment room. At that time, we were all gathered together in the nurse's office because of Hifumi going missing.
Well, don't forget, I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time.
Wait, then what if Genocide Jill did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there right then!
She was passed out.
Even if
dude.
she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi's body. Because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment room when his body disappeared.
Besides, I didn't do either of them anyway.
Yeah, she only kills a certain way.
In other words, it is impossible that any of
Careful.
us could
Figure.
have killed Hifumi or moved either of their bodies. On the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared, so
Kyoko.
they most certainly could have done those things.
So what now, Kyoko?
For now, we can't get fixated on who did it, or we'll just keep going around in circles.
I know she didn't do it. She would never done it.
So instead of who, I propose we start talking about how.
How what?
In particular, I think we need to figure out how Hifumi's body got moved.
How now, Brown Cow?
That's true. We searched everywhere, but we couldn't figure out how to explain his body disappearing.
She's got a point.
And according to what Celeste said,
We could not have been gone for more than a minute or two, though. So when the killer was able to get in and move Fumi's body in that short amount of time, it would be so. I read
his
that part
body
wrong.
apparently disappeared in the 1 minute her and Hina took their eyes off of it. But to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the third in that short amount of time?
Oh man, yeah! There's no way! It'd be impossible!
I wonder how much Fumi... Wait, I'm really curious right now. Holy crap! Wow, he weighs a lot. 148, 168, 150, 146, 150. Wow, he is 10. Hiro was 90 pounds? What? Wow. Okay. 345 pounds. Holy crap, Hifumi.
Well, what if I told you there was a way to make the impossible possible?
What?
What? How?
Elevator?
If the dead body were to move itself.
Oh, and the music kicks up. Oh, that was perfect.
The dead body moved on its own?
Zombies.
No! Not another... ghost!
I don't think it has anything to do with the occult. I think what she's implying is, we thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality he was still alive.
He was... alive?
Are you saying Hifumi wasn't carried out of the nurse's office, but simply walked out on his own?
I think so.
But I mean, we found his body. He was dead.
Did anybody check his pulse, though?
Perhaps he was simply playing dead.
That it isn't possible.
The idea that Hifumi was still alive. Is it really possible? Yes, his glasses. What do I have? Make your argument. Argument wristwatch. No.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible.
I
Hifumi
wanna-
was dead, without a doubt.
I want to go through and see what
And
I
you
have.
know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we
Okay.
really so sure about
I
that?
take the first one.
Maybe
then.
the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
I almost didn't see that one. It's like at the same time.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
Okay.
No, it is
This is one of
impossible.
Celeste's, I think, that I have to shoot.
Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest
Oh
of
my eye.
us.
That's just...
Hifumi's
Dead body had been found.
No.
No, that's wrong.
That was her Taka's body, wasn't it? Because didn't we hear a third one, or
Was
a
the
second
body
one later?
discovery announcement that was made really intended for Hifumi?
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his body.
But they discovered Taka's body at almost the same time.
Maybe. But that was also the same time that Taka's body was found.
That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the announcement.
So there's a good chance we've made a mistake in there somewhere. I think we've confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka.
First of all, if 2 bodies had been found, there really should have been 2 announcements.
Monokuma?
Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy and rolled them together into one.
No.
What do you say, Monokuma? Any comment?
Well, it's a very sensitive issue, so I can't go into too much detail.
Detail. It's a weird accent.
But what I can say about the body discovery announcement is that it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
That didn't answer our question, man. We're asking if you're a lazy bum.
I'd be careful, Hiro.
No, actually, that was plenty.
Oh?
Huh?
He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first time, which means even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again. If that's true, then why was the announcement made again later on?
Ah, Byakuya with the smarts there.
Huh? Later on?
You were passed out.
Exactly. We heard the body discovery announcement twice.
The second body discovery announcement. First time it played when we found each body in the nurse's office in the equipment room. And the second time was when both bodies were rediscovered.
I got it! We heard it a second time in the repository, when we rediscovered the 2 bodies.
Ding dong, ding dong. Body's been discovered. It's in my time machine. Yeah.
It didn't seem weird at the time, but it contradicts what Monokuma just told us, doesn't it?
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have played.
Then in reality, when the 2 dead bodies were rediscovered, one of them was actually being discovered for the first time.
Ah.
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually dead yet. Meaning, he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
And
Interesting.
that's just part of it. There's one other thing that leads me to believe he was still alive in the nurse's office.
Glasses.
Oh, I know!
No, you don't.
Because he was super good at playing dead! Bada bing, bada boom!
Oh, shut up.
That is the worst logic I have ever heard.
Thank you.
But honestly, I do not think there's anything that can prove he was still alive.
Okay then, let's take another look at the events surrounding the discovery of his body. Then it should become clear whether he was really alive or not.
Did you look over the evidence, Kyoko?
This whole thing is pointless.
Oh, shut up. That's the proof that shows Hifumi is still alive. I have to find it and show it to everyone. What are we doing? Okay. What do we got? Ah, there we go. That's what I needed.
Well, here's one thing we do know. The first time we found Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office. And then, while me and Celeste were in the bathroom, his body disappeared.
And the next time we saw his body, it was in the repository.
I think it might be
But
the
when
first
you
one. We'll have
compare
to
his
see.
body before being moved and his body
nope, here it
after
is.
being moved, other than the change in how
How it was positioned.
No. No. No.
there was
No notable difference.
Ah. Oh. Haha.
Shoot!
I almost shot at the first one anyways. So it was the second one. Okay.
Well, here's one thing the first time we found him, and then his body
And the next time we
Oh,
saw
shoot.
his
Body, it was in.
But when you compare his body before,
other than the change in how it was,
Was positioned.
there was no notable
Notable difference.
Yes, there was.
No, that's wrong.
Oh, I must have did that wrong again.
In fact, there was one clear difference between Hifumi in the nurse's office and the repository.
His glasses.
His glasses. That fact alone proves that he was only playing dead in the beginning.
Perhaps you'd like to fill the rest of us in?
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered with blood.
Yep.
But when we found him again later in the repository, they were spotless. And I found the item he used to wipe them clean in the nurse's office trash can.
As I found the trash can in the nurse's office was. Do.
I got it! It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain cartoon mascot. One look at the bloodstain on the cloth should make things clear. This piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean. And the mascot on the cloth is the same one that's on the digital camera, right? And whose digital camera was it? Hifumi's, of course.
the character was Princess Piggles from Demon Angel Pretty Pudgy Princess, I think.
Yes, ma'am.
I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like this to school.
Yeah.
I see your point. And the only people here who wear glasses are...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
Thank you.
A few tissues is all I need to keep my glasses clean.
Ew.
Then there's no question. It belonged to Hifumi.
What? No, don't use tissues. Use an actual glass cleaner. Otherwise you scratch them.
So what you're saying is... What exactly?
Oh my god,
What
Hiro.
I'm saying is, the blood on his glasses was wiped away using his own glasses cleaning cloth.
Even if that is true, it does not mean he wiped the blood off himself.
But why would you wipe it off
But
otherwise?
who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses owner?
Exactly.
That's a good point.
Then it must have been him, right?
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office. He pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean so he can see. Then he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet. And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
Yes,
But
ma'am.
then, if he was just pretending to be dead, what was with all that blood? Was it paint or something?
No. Wasn't there blood in the fridge?
The fridge in the nurse's office contains packs of blood for emergencies. He probably used one of those.
And then when he and Celeste went out to the bathroom and we were all on the 3rd floor, he probably went up to the 2nd floor and hid till we all ran by.
He figured if he was gonna play dead, he should go all out, so he just dumped it everywhere! But he got crazy with it and had to wipe his glasses off when he was done! God, what an idiot!
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained.
So when we all went downstairs, he went upstairs and moved Taka's body.
It should be perfectly obvious who must have moved Taka's corpse.
This is getting interesting. The one who moved Taka's body was Hifumi.
I got it! It could only have been Hifumi,
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
The door was locked? Well, after the bodies disappeared, we all went looking for them, right? So me and Sakura headed for the repository. But when we got there, the door was locked.
And the repository door can only be locked from the inside. Which means, when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already inside.
So Hifumi was already in there.
And it could only have been Hifumi, who just finished stashing Taka's body there.
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository.
But why drag it there?
So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
But that means he took part in the murders.
I just can't believe it.
I didn't want to think he'd do
If you're
it.
having trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
Oh.
There's more?
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to his involvement has yet to be revealed.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The item he took off of Taka's lifeless body?
The note. So from Taka, could it be...
I got it! You're talking about the note Hifumi had hidden away, aren't you?
Hidden note?
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
What? In his pants?
Everyone's gonna go crazy.
Yes, his pants.
Sakura?
Okay, well, forget about the pants for now. Take a look at what the note says.
Oh, jeez. Found a hole maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet at the equipment room at 6 a.m.
Ah! That's the note I was telling you about! The one that told me where to go! Huh? Wait, this one's a little different. In my note it said, Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m.
I see. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got.
It's not the same?
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro. And that person could only have been...
Fumi's pants.
I got it! That's
Had to get
right!
in touch with his pants,
Taka.
you know.
The killer used this note to draw out Taka and murder him.
Hello? Over here! Objection! Objection!
What do you have an
I
objection
don't really
to?
understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Huffy!
What?
Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi, right? Ugh! Yes! Why must you ruin it every time?
Man, Genocide Jack is seriously scary, but still, can't let her get to me. We have the ripped scrap part that was found in Taka's body. Hand, whatever. Discuss. I don't have any of those.
Huffy had the note, right?
Yes?
Then the person it was intended for must have been Huffy!
Wait.
But remember what the note said. What time
Maybe.
did it say to meet?
6 a.m., I believe.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
No. Wait, what?
Shoot!
And there's some... I'm confused.
Huffy had the note, right?
Glasses cleaning cloth. Broken wristwatch.
Then the person it was intended for
Oh, that one.
must have been Huffy!
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m., I believe.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
Yes, it does.
No, that's wrong!
Listen here, you psychotic murdering woman.
No! There absolutely is a connection!
What the hell are you talking about?
Oh, shut up.
The note said to meet at 6 a.m., which is the same time Taka was murdered. We've already proven that using his wristwatch. But there's more. Look where the note says to meet. The equipment room, right?
That's where his dead body
Which
was
is
found.
where Taka was killed. I see.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note. I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka.
Well, when you put it like that... No further objections!
Then someone used that note to trick Taka. Just the same as me. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster. Telling people they found a way out.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it? Stuffed down his pants, no less!
Most likely, Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Huh? He stole it?
Where's your proof? Go ahead, show us.
Proof that Hifumi stole the note from Taka. That would be the ripped part. Get Taka's scrap of paper.
I got it! When I searched Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of paper. If I'm right about this, the sheet of paper this piece came from is... I knew it! It fits perfectly with the note we found hidden on Hifumi.
Then Taka's scrap and Hifumi's note...
Yup, they're from the same piece of paper.
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way to explain it.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from his death grip, leaving behind only one small scrap.
And Hifumi wasn't strong enough to open up his hand.
Did I get all that right?
Yes, ma'am.
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly. Which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Whoa.
Now we gotta figure out who murdered Hifumi.
After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing for sure. In fact, he was behind the whole thing. In fact, he's still alive!
No, we found... body discovered.
no.
Ding dong.
When
ding
we
dong.
found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery announcement proves that.
So then, who killed Hifumi?
Whoever did is the mastermind, the true killer.
No,
He
I
was
don't think
killed
so.
in the repository. So he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the repository.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body.
Could have been any one
In
of
other
us.
words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Wait, but me and Sakura were together. Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus!
What?
Who are you calling a walrus?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
Oh.
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi.
The weapon?
Yeah, because I mean, according to the Monokuma file, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right? So if Hifumi was killed in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it.
Holy crap, did Hiro just say something really smart?
But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after all.
Piaka said the same thing, just not as nice.
Hell yeah, it's packed in there good and tight.
Oh my lord.
He's right, though. I don't understand it either. The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments. But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers?
I have a clean
Personally,
hammer,
I haven't a clue.
So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Well, I mean, if you swing hard enough, even a ball-peen hammer could kill someone.
Then,
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right?
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi?
The weapon that was actually used to kill Hifumi. The whole picture surrounding this case won't become clear until we figure that out. So I'm going to have to find out the truth. God dang it. It needs to give me the clean hammer. Clean hammer. Spotless hammer. There it is.
What was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer 3? Maybe
No,
Justice Hammer 4?
No.
Well, whatever it was, there's one thing we have to figure out. How was the culprit able to move around so
That's
freely
to shoot
with the
something
weapon?
you say.
How did nobody witness them carrying it?
Oh, no.
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance!
No? I must have you seriously, adorable, seriously.
Shoot.
What? Okay. Okay.
What
let's-
Was used to. Was it just
Fast
maybe
forward again.
Justice?
Well, there's one. How was the culprit? How did nobody... Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about... Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info!
Well, one thing seems pretty clear. The murder weapon had to be one of the
Justice Hammer!
No, that's what
No,
it was.
it's wrong.
Okay.
The murder weapon wasn't a justice hammer at all. No, it was something completely different.
But, seriously? A different weapon?
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris. But for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Huh?
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder. If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off.
But blood doesn't come out that easy. Just saying.
I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones, and even some flat mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
So now we need to figure out who killed
Whoever
Hifumi.
did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him.
Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
Talked about it, there wouldn't be any reason for anyone to work together. At least that's what we thought at first, but... Okay. So I have to copy one?
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
You really said there's no chance two people work together on this?
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us,
So two murders
even
seem
if
impossible?
more than one person
Is complicit. Only the one who actually... Assuming the rule holds true. It is...
So I
That
copy...
is,
But that only really applies if there's one. In this case, however, there were two murders.
Okay, so then I use this on the first one? I only have two
Based
things
on
to
the rules
shoot,
that have
so...
been
laid out even if more than one...
only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate, assuming the rule holds true. It
No, that's wrong.
Aha.
Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
what do you
Ah.
mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward benefit?
They risk their lives but receive nothing. They won't get
The
away.
payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in the scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime. And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
Makes sense.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents.
That makes sense.
And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
That's just awful. How could anyone be so cruel?
The world is full of cruel people.
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
Was it because they both wanted alter ego? Information system, two murders are the same. That was the main characteristic this time. Kyo must have noticed that fact from the very beginning, which is why she said not to look at this as a series of connected events but entirely separate incidents. Kyoko really is amazing, although, when you think about it, she's almost too amazing. Like, it's almost unnatural how good she is at this.
I understand how an accomplice could be involved, but then who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
It's like she does this for a living or something.
That's problem numero uno right now.
The true killer... The true killer manipulated Hifumi to carry out a number of actions and in the end murdered him. In the debates up till now, the way the case is unfolded, when you consider all of that, there's really only one person who seems to fit. I gotta go with Celeste. It's the only one who really seems out there.
Here's my answer.
She keeps trying to interrupt everything, making accusations.
So I'm the suspicious individual now, am I?
There's a lot going against you right now.
I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke? I wonder.
I didn't get it wrong, so I was right.
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi.
You are the ultimate gambler.
The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him, that I would go within 10 feet of that shit brains, that lazy, worthless, goddamn idiot! Pardonnez-moi.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
There is. Oh. Oh, there's the bathroom. Apparently they went off in a minute or two. No. Everything is pretty split up. There's no... There's evidence.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
Wait, why are you pointing at the center when she's right next to you? It's only Hifumi has less in common. Encountering the suspicious individual. No one else saw it, did
The
they?
behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit, doesn't it? The only ones who ever actually saw Robo Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
I didn't actually think about that.
Shush. The adults are talking now.
Listen here, you little so-and-so.
Sorry.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
It's all an elaborate ruse, wasn't it?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct? And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said?
Oh my god, Byakuya read my mind. I saw shadows only moving around at the top of the stairs.
We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen. Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor,
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
and when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
Celeste was wrong. There was a rather intense scream. Saw him, a strange caster man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down to the hallway and disappeared.
Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
Yeah. What was that? He came from downstairs. It must have been. If only he's in the nurse's office. Nurse was bad. Come on, we have to go back.
It was to get us to divide into two groups. So that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
She was, wasn't she? Then why don't we split into two groups? I'll lead the hunting party. That seems much more interesting. Very well, then Makoto, Hina, you come with me to the nurse's office. I'll leave the capture to Toka, Byakuya, and Sakura. I can't speak.
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. And on
Nothing?
top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on. That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it?
Oh.
It was your way of telling him, we are on the third floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
Smart.
I just realized another strange thing. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead,
So not expecting this, and now imagine that Hifumi would be murdered.
Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
I don't believe it. Everything. The whole thing was one big act.
Almost got away with it too.
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kinda sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed.
This is a very interesting murder. Holy crap.
Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Oh, gonna wipe that smug grin off your face.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
Oh.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing.
Oh.
What are you talking about?
This is starting to turn into Phoenix right here. It was just one little mess up that undoes your whole thing.
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
Wait, what? They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. We're all going to die here. We're going to die just... I didn't even catch that. Just like those guys did. She didn't see Taka's body.
I remember her saying that too, but I don't understand what's so strange about it.
Oh, it makes sense now.
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed, so Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the four of us headed to the nurse's office. Now, The entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what
Hiro,
it means.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
Celeste's comment doesn't make sense, but what is he alluding to? The argument. I'm gonna have to copy one, aren't I? Yeah.
All I said was, they must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died.
I'm gonna go through and see.
that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it? What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
All I said was,
Oh!
they must
Thankfully that doesn't work. I think I'll get the similar weapon.
really
I don't
be
think
enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused.
I don't think us
They
is
must
it.
be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
Crap.
And that's all it takes.
What was so strange about
Celeste's
No.
comment?
All I said was they must really be enjoying
I'm gonna try
the sight
something.
of us. They must be positive. We are all going to die here.
We are going to die, just like those guys died.
No. Let's just have...
Shoot!
All
Okay.
I said was, they must really be enjoying this.
us all...
Enjoying the sight of us standing
That's so
around,
strange.
frightened and confused. They must be positively elated.
I
We are
want to press
all
the copy
going
of
to.
the
We are going to
Oculus.
die. And that is all.
And that's all it takes to finish.
What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
Let's check that and see.
All I said was they must really enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are
'Cause I know
all going
exactly
to
what
die.
section
We are
it's
going
for.
to
Die, just like...
Okay.
No, that's wrong.
So that is interesting. Oh my god, that one was confusing.
That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died. When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall. So there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
So
She was
how
part
did you
of it.
know, Celeste? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
Guys can also be just used as a generalized term, though. Oh god.
You all have such vivid imaginations. You know that?
Imaginations.
You claim
Uh-oh.
that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious person I saw. Then what about the picture I took? How do you explain this picture of the costumed villain dragging Hifumi away?
It has to be some kind of setup, right?
Was it a literal setup?
So let's put the suit on, and then she used the camera's timer to set up the picture.
Have you so quickly forgotten? You are the only one who could have possibly fit into that suit. Plus, I happen to know that this particular camera does not have a timer. In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away.
It's just that. It's just a picture.
If
There's
everything
nothing
I
moving.
told you was a lie, how can this picture exist?
Simple. Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
What could you possibly mean by that?
Surely
Kyoko?
there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
No, There is no other explanation.
Oh, sure, there's plenty of them. Are there explanations? If it wasn't a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away, the only other possibility is
I
dragging
got
the
it!
suspect away.
It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility. The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around.
Haha.
And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray even farther. If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
Everything was there just to throw us off the track.
That's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
And you weren't.
Such a thing
Oh my god, can I slap you, please?
is utterly impossible.
We know it's you and you're just
Hifumi
trying
was
to...
dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
Meow. Catfight. But there's no way Hifumi is dragging the suspect away, but is that really possible? Rebuttal shut... Is that what it's called? Robo Justice costume? Yes, here's a message. Robo Justice blueprints.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight! You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside
The suit was unconscious.
What? Wasn't that right? Oh, must be another one later on. Crap. It's
You dressed
Robo
me
Justice
up in that
costume, because the
suit after
costume
I
stands up
passed
by
Then
itself.
you just draped me across Hifumi. You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, as you can see in the picture, the suspect is that if the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could
Stand up straight like that.
That's the
No,
one.
that's wrong.
Come on. I never hit it by... I'm off by one.
No. Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that. Because that Robo Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
Not being able to bend over. Yes. We've seen this already.
That's right! They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
I'm not so sure that was a mistake. I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
checkmate.
The ultimate gambler has lost. I'm getting dizzy. Oh,
Don't
I'm
make
getting
me laugh,
dizzy.
you idiot! What do you mean, checkmate?
Oh god.
Celeste? Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one little problem.
Her voice sounds familiar.
Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying?
If someone who was it who attacked you, who tried to kill you, who killed me, that's alright, I remember their name. Hiro.
When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not? He said, and I quote, Yasuhiro. In other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!
Wait! But my name isn't really Yasuhiro! It's actually Taro!
Your confusing statements don't make any sense. You're only making things more complicated.
He did say Yasuhiro, but are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
What the hell are you talking about?
We
I'll
only have
burn you
Celeste.
alive!
We only have Celeste as a name.
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us. How did he refer to each of us?
He said people's last names, didn't he?
I got
Mr.
it!
Naegi.
That's right! Our last names! He called us all by our last names!
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example. So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, his first name. Indecent?
Don't
Oh
talk.
god.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation? No. There's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than normal.
Celeste Yasuhiro?
But he must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone here.
Well, no. Hold on. There's one person it could apply to.
Celeste, because we don't have her last
And
name.
that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name is.
What did you just say? To think you'd take your false accusation
Yeah, we
so
never got a
far,
last
I
name for
don't
her.
know whether to laugh or spit!
Good lord.
Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather! Yasuhiro is a loser's name! Do I look like a loser to you?
Well, I mean, you just lost that trial, so yes, you look like a loser to me.
Well, do I?
Oh, please let me say yes.
What? I think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
Okay,
Just a
then
little.
fill us in. What's your real name?
Fine! Make sure your ear holes are wide open and listen up! My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again?
Celeste won't give up, so then I have to do something to make her accept it. Her handbook. Make her turn on her handbook. E-handbook, there it is.
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
I'm gonna just hit that.
If there's one person here who might have that last name,
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone what your real name is.
How many times do I have to tell you? My name is... Celestia Ludenberg, god damn it!
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth.
I haven't had to shoot anything
And
yet.
since you have no way to contradict me,
Yes, we do.
No, that's wrong.
We just went over the last case with e-handbooks. You'd think we would have learned.
That's it. The handbook.
what?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up, right? Monokuma told us all about it before.
And we're gonna have a flashback to that. This handbook is absolutely vital to a healthy school life, so don't lose it. When you start up, it'll display your name. Always make sure you have the right one. Now, since it's not your everyday notebook, it has so many more uses than that.
So all we have to do is check her handbook, and that'll clear up everything. That's how we can find out Celeste's real name.
That's an invasion of privacy. I refuse to cooperate.
That makes you just look more guilty.
Celeste, can you please just tell us what really happened? Please, just tell us.
Oh, come on. Stop with the pity banter.
Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up. Because...
Good lord.
Until the game's over, you never know what might happen.
And you've lost.
Fine then. Let me settle it. Let me go over the case again, from the beginning, and shed light on all your crimes.
I have to put together the thing,
And
don't
that'll
I?
bring everything to an end.
Closing argument. Why? I don't need that. I'm just kind of going through with what I have. Okay, so this goes there. Gonna assume that because it looks like he's being held up. Okay, so that one. Okay, let's keep going down. Oh, he was Justice Hammer 3? Right? The heck is that thing? Chips? Okay, so we know this one goes down here. Okay. So this one... Oh no, that's wrong. Where goes there? Oh, what goes there? What goes there? I can't remember. Two and three.
The killer is you!
Let's see what we got. Go from there.
Before anything, the killer persuaded someone to help carry out the murder. And
Oh,
that
there's the bag of
person
chips on the
was
table there. Haha. What is
Hifumi.
up with that
With an
face?
accomplice, the killer was able to execute a number of otherwise impossible schemes.
Okay.
First, they convinced someone to meet them in the rec room last night at 1 in the morning. That someone they met with was Hiro.
Okay.
The murderous duo intended to pass Hiro off as the prime suspect. So when they met up with him, they drugged him, knocked him out, and stuffed him into the Robo-Justice suit. Next, Hifumi positioned himself to make it look like Robo-Justice was attacking him, while the killer used a digital camera to take pictures of the assault.
Should have took one picture though.
They did all this just to create evidence that would put the suspicion on Hiro.
I have a feeling I
When
have
they
the
were
Justice
done
Hammer
with him,
parts wrong.
they shoved him, still unconscious, into the pool room locker. And then finally, at 6 a.m., they moved into the murder phase of their plan. They called Taka to the equipment room.
I forget which one it was. Ah, 4. Crap. Did that wrong.
And that's where Hifumi killed him, making it the scene of the first murder.
Yep. Rearrange events. Crap. Okay, so Justice Hammer 4 goes there. So what was 4? So 2 goes here.
The killer is you!
Okay, let's do that again.
And that's where Hifumi killed him.
You gotta see the first murder.
The murder weapon was Justice Hammer 4, which was left there in the equipment room. The reason hammer number 4 was used was to create confusion about the order of the crimes. So, next they falsified two more assault incidents. For these attacks, the killers pretended to be the victims to solidify Robo Justice as the first fake incident was the attack in the rec room. There, the killers wanted us to see Justice Hammer 1 and the Robo Justice pictures they'd taken. They wanted to make sure we bought the surprise attack story. The second fake incident was the attack in the library. This time, they planted Justice Hammer 2 and an injured Hifumi to sell us that story. With these two incidents, the killers were able to create a certain preconception in our minds that the suspect was increasing the size of the hammers and attacking people in order as they did. We fell right into their trap and started looking for the suspect based on that. But...
no. Yep. I'm almost out of life.
The killer is... you!
I knew I got those out of order.
So, next they falsified 2 more assault incidents. For these attacks, the killers pretended the first fake incident was the affair. The killers wanted us to... They wanted to make sure the second fake incident. This time, with these, we fell right into their...
the parts we've already seen, right here.
While we did that, we left Hifumi alone in the nurse's office. This was exactly what Hifumi was hoping for. He took a blood packet from the refrigerator and Justice Hammer 3 and turned the room into a crime scene, in which he himself had apparently been brutally murdered. He let out a scream to draw us back, and when we returned, that's what we found. Meanwhile, the other group that had been out searching found Taka's body at the same time. So when we heard the body discovery announcement, we naturally assumed it was for Hifumi.
It was actually for Taka.
We left the nurse's office, and Hifumi once again took advantage of the situation.
Hifumi did most of the freaking work here.
He simply got up and made his escape. When we learned his body had disappeared, we all rushed back to the nurse's office. And once again, Hifumi had the chance he was waiting for. This time, he snuck into the equipment room. He wrapped Taka's body in a tarp and used the dolly to move it all the way down to the repository.
I still want to know why he moved the body.
That explains how each of the bodies disappeared. But even Hifumi didn't know what the true killer had in mind for their final act.
I like that he's dancing there.
Their plan all along was to kill Hifumi and get rid of the one person who could betray them. And they did it using an ordinary, everyday hammer from the repository.
And then they had to clean it.
That should cover everything that happened in this case. And the villain behind it all is...
Celestia Ludenberg. I like the flowers. What the heck?
Celeste! Sorry, you lose.
Complete.
I lost?
The ultimate gambler has lost.
I lost? When was the last time I was forced to utter such words? They hang heavy around my neck.
Then you admit it? You're the killer?
Listen to you, trying to take charge, as if you're my private instructor. I, Celestia Ludenberg. Actually, no. Taiko Yasuhiro is fine.
Taiko?
Oh,
So, you finally accepted it.
she lost her accent too.
I'm the kind of person, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag on.
Interesting.
The whole accident and everything was a fake. Wow. How did I get A's on everything? There was a few times I messed up. Oh my god, 96.
Okay, Monokuma. I'm ready to begin. Or, no. I suppose this is the end, isn't it?
It is indeed the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to vote. Okay? Okay. If you would, please locate your lever and cast your vote. And when the votes are tallied, who will become the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one?
Okay, we see that every freaking time. Why does Celeste's voice actor sound so familiar?
What?
It's basically formality at this point, but once again, you're totally correct. The blackened this time, the true killer who devised the whole stinking scheme was... Celestia Lindbergh, or more precisely, Taiko Yasuhiro.
Honestly.
I lost. Well, that sucks. I guess trying to work with someone else was a mistake after all. Hifumi's ineptitude was beyond all my calculations.
I knew it.
So you really did approach Hifumi with this plan? But how did you get him to agree? I can't imagine he would have been happily agreed to commit to murder. I'm sure she relied on her specialty, lying. My specialty? Don't make me laugh. I didn't have to lie to get him to agree.
So then...
Then did you use, you know... I knew you'd figure it out, Kyoko. You're absolutely right. To get Hifumi to act as my accomplice...
Indeed.
I used her. For everyone who's still left, I'll avoid mentioning it by name, but... It was the one thing Hifumi and Tako were both super into. I mentioned it during the trial. I wanted to smack my character. Does she mean... Is she talking about alter ego?
Say what?
What? What are you talking about?
Just a second.
Don't interrupt. We're in the middle of a very important conversation here. Totally out of the loop as usual. How sad.
In other words...
Then you're the one that stole it?
Indeed.
That's right.
I see.
And you used it to drag Hifumi into a plan you'd come up with. Right again. Last night, after we had our meeting about how it disappeared, I paid Hifumi a little visit. What are you doing here?
Actually...
I was hoping I could talk to you, alone. It's about what was stolen. I know who did it.
What?
Are you okay with this?
It was Taka. He stole it. What?
So then...
And I have proof. Would you like to see it? As it turned out, I'd found a use for the digital camera. I'd taken you-know-what to Taka's room earlier and took pictures of it there. I deleted the picture as soon as I'd shown it to Hifumi, of course.
Damnation!
So it was him. But how did he do it? She was supposed to yell if either of us got close to her. You were correct, which is why Taka forced me to steal it.
Say what?
As for me...
Please forgive me. He threatened me.
Oh,
He did?
As for me...
He came to my room last night unannounced, and then... It's hard for me to even say. He abused me.
What?
That right there would have... So many red flags. That's not like Taka. And he took pictures. He said if I did not do as he asked, he would show them to everyone. So I had no choice.
Damnation!
That's a crime. An absolute crime. I mean, I knew he'd gone a little crazy, but...
Say what?
I never imagined he would go that far. It's amazing how completely he bought it. Can't express how enjoyable that was. About to say something I've never said before in my life.
Completely unforgivable!
I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna effing kill him.
Most unfortunate.
Wait, please. If you go now, you'll be playing right into his hands. Huh?
Actually...
Taka is planning to use her to escape, as he made you his target.
What?
Escape? You don't mean... Taka is going to try to kill you.
Indeed.
And all so he can keep her to himself. Bastard.
This is unforgivable! Completely unforgivable!
Bastard.
Honestly.
Can we allow him to continue these barbaric acts? Absolutely not. How could I? She...
I swear I will save her!
I have to save her.
Actually,
Then, how would you like to join with me? It just so happens I've come up with a plan. I have devised a way to reclaim what he has stolen and escape this dreadful school. And right there, you bought it. And with that, it is complete. Huh? What are you talking about? Oh, nothing. Ifumi agreed without a second thought. The effect that the item had on him was remarkable. The power of love, even a love as twisted as that, can still drive people mad, it seems. You disgust me.
I see.
I have another question for you. Was that strange costume Hifumi's creation?
indeed.
Yeah, it was a real pain in the butt, too. All I asked him to do was make something to hide the face and general body size. I had no idea he'd make something like that. But it's my fault for picking him in the first place.
But...
So why'd you choose to make me the suspect? Because you're stupid. Blunt. That's it?
Let's see.
And in that regard, I made the right choice. I'm so glad your stupidity surpassed my every expectation. Life must have been tough on your parents, though. I feel like I could cry.
Well,
But when you're explaining your plan to Fumi, how did you explain the part of him playing dead? What she's asking is, how was Fumi supposed to do after that, assuming you had actually let him live?
Are you okay with this?
That's simple. After he did his part and pretend to be dead, when someone showed up, I told him to say he'd been seriously wounded, he was on the verge of death, but he just barely held on. And he really believed that. Well, of course, that wasn't all there was to it. As I explained it to Hifumi, the plan was, while you were all questioning him about what had happened to him, I was going to murder someone else. At that point, Hifumi would have had an alibi, so nobody could have doubted him. I told him that, and he believed it. Well, it seems very straightforward. Stereotypical. I just matched the lie to the level of the opponent. In fact, Hifumi ate it up. He believed the lie wholeheartedly, right up until the moment of his death.
so in the end...
So you had planned to kill him all along. But of course, there would have been no point in my plan if one who pretended to be dead did not end up dead himself.
What the heck?
My human life means so little to you.
Well,
That's a non-issue. I simply did everything in my power to win.
Don't be mean!
Now you sound like Byakuya.
I wonder about that.
No, he derives his pleasure from the thrill of the hunt. In that aspect, we are nothing alike.
Why?
Then, what made you take things this far?
What the heck?
Was it really just for money? Are you talking about the $10 million Monokuma offered us? That is a lot of money, it's true. But that's not all there is to it. From the moment our new life began here, my only thought has been escape.
But...
All along you've been saying how we have to accept living here.
You little bitch!
Jeez. Obviously that was a lie.
Hey!
Couldn't take it. I hated it from day one. More than anyone is in here.
You little bitch!
Don't have to repeat that every time, good lord. I wanted to get out. Every day was fresh torture. And you know why, huh?
This is fine.
Because I had a dream. And accepting a life here would have meant nothing less than giving up on my dream forever.
Honestly.
And there was no way that I could ever do that. In the underground world of gambling, I risked my life to make a metaphorical killing.
As for me,
And it was all for that dream. And what was that dream of yours?
isn't it wonderful?
To live in a European castle. A castle? To gather the handsome men from all over the world to serve as my butlers/bodyguards. The one right to Celeste there on the right, with his arm kind of crossed and the towel down, looks a little like Byakuya. Kind of scary looking. And the one right behind her head kind of looks like Makoto. I was going to make them dress up like vampires and satisfy my every need. Once I attained that, I would have created a perfectly aesthetic world of
This
decadence.
is fine.
And the rest of my life there was my only dream, my only goal. And that's what life is all about. Combined with my own winnings, Monaco's $10 million would have made that dream a reality. I got right to the edge, but
There is nothing to be done.
unfortunately my dream has been scattered to the wind. Still, I don't have any regrets. I pursued my dream to the very end, so why would I?
Just the worst.
Oh, you sound so passionate, but you were really able to kill your own friends for it?
Oh,
Are you asking me to feel guilty? That's the point in this endeavor. I think nothing of sacrificing others for my own ends. I feel nothing.
do you understand?
That's all there is to me. That's what makes me complete. Isn't it terrifying how different our values are? There's simply no room for understanding.
What is this?
That's what we should be saying. And plus, how can you be so calm? Don't you realize you're about to die? Why aren't you scared? My ability to lie is unrivaled, and I take pride in that. It's not just other people. I can even fool my own emotions. The conscious deceives the unconscious. And that's why you're not scared?
Yes, indeed.
That's right. I don't fear death. Kill me however you like. But you know, if I could be reincarnated, if I had a choice, then
Isn't it wonderful?
I'd like to come back as Marie Antoinette.
Hey,
Just get executed again. Celeste smiled then. And when she did, it looked like to me like the poor effort to force it. She claimed she could fool her own feelings. But that statement itself must have been her final lie. And that weak fake smile is what betrayed her.
Thrills, chills, kills!
Are you all done? Okay, let's get on rolling. The black and disturbed piece that must pay the price.
Now then, I've prepared a very special punishment.
For her, the ultimate gambler.
Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time!
I guess I'll let Kyoko hold on to this.
What?
This is...
Will it really give you the hope you're looking for? I can't say I ever saw it that way. Which is why... Actually, it's not important. Well then... Take care, everyone. Perhaps we'll meet again. In another life.
Seems so calm and so human. It's scary. She was able to commit a murder. But of course she valued no life, so... Hey, she got a castle. Huh? The burning of the Versailles witch. Oh. Gonna burn her alive? And the music's just so somber, not the normal upbeat murder music. She looks scared. I hear the music. What the heck? Oh, she didn't burn to death. She got, splat. Okay. Oh. Okay. It's over. The third execution is over. Celeste's death is over. Celeste killed my friend, so I can't pity her, but I just can't deny that at one point I considered her a friend too. And for him just to come along and... Isn't it just awful? Someone couldn't cut free of the regrets from the outside world, so more people had to die.
Extreme!
You guys are still young. You need to place more value on your lives.
What are you gonna do?
Jeez, and here I thought you guys were gonna pass the torch of hope to the next generation.
let me out of here!
What do I care about hope? I'll throw it in the trash if you just let me out of here.
Too bad.
You're all the embodiment of hope, whether you like it or not. And it's my destiny to knock you down one by one. It's sad, yes it is, but that's the reality, it just can't be avoided. Don't talk like you're the one not responsible. How long are you gonna make us keep going through this? What do you want from us?
How strange.
God, I'm so sick of people asking me that. Give it a rest already. So anyway, Kyoko, did I see you get some kind of key object from Celeste?
Hey! Hey!
So what's the deal with that?
Wah wah?
Huh? What's the matter?
So then,
I'll answer your question if you answer mine.
you...
What did you do? What did you do to me?
Ooh!
What?
Hey,
Answer me. What did you do to my body?
Ooh! How exciting!
Oh man, oh jeez, oh man, oh jeez. What do you mean? What did I do? I have no idea. I don't know anything about it. What was that just now? The mastermind did something to Kyoko's body? What does that mean?
Hello.
Okay, things are getting kind of awkward. I think it's about time to get out of here.
Well?
Anyway, you guys can go enjoy your school life. If you get lonely, give me a shout. Not that I'll do anything about it, of course.
See ya later!
Monica disappeared, leaving us all depressed and in despair. Although it wasn't all despair. There was one small hope. Hey Kyoko, Monokuma already mentioned it, but was that the key that Celeste gave you?
so...
Most likely. It's the key to one of the dressing room lockers.
Huh?
What? Then that means... Celeste probably hid it in there.
Hey,
I suppose sometimes it's easy to miss what's right beneath your nose. Well then, we better go check.
Indeed.
Good idea. We left the courtroom and rushed to the dressing room. As we approached the dressing room, Kyoko looked behind us and said,
Hey,
I'm going in alone from here. Everyone else head to the dining room. I'll check in with you later.
What?
Why exactly are you going alone?
so...
Do you even have to ask? As she spoke, she glanced quickly at the surveillance camera.
Come on.
That's not what I mean. Why you? There's still the risk of there's still the risk of a spy, you know. Then I'll go too.
What?
You. Please, let me go. Staying here arguing is just going to draw more attention to us.
Goodbye.
Do whatever you want. Thank you, Byakuya.
well then.
That's up to you now.
Yo!
Go to the dining hall, okay?
Huh?
So Makoto and Kyoko are going to go together? Does that mean what I think it means?
Okay.
Good luck, Makoto. Feels like her are total pushovers when you show. Whoa. I'm trying to figure what he just said. Everyone head to the dining hall. Leave me and Kyoko standing
Shall
there.
we go?
Well, shall we? Yeah.
So then,
We need to get to that locker. Kyoko took the key Celeste given her and unlocked the locker. And as the locker swung open, we saw...
You really came.
Good morning. It's been a while, hasn't it? It's safe, thank goodness. I never heard Kyoko sound so relieved. It was like she was speaking from the bottom of her heart. I did just what Celeste asked. I didn't say a word. I stayed quiet the entire time.
So,
Oh, and I think I might be able to open the last set of files soon. Maybe as early as tomorrow. I'm doing my best, so please wait just a while longer. So we can officially say the case is closed. As far as this incident is concerned, sure, but... Can we take a second? Since we have this opportunity, I want you to be honest with me. Kyoko, please tell me, what are you trying to do all on your own here at the school?
you...
Is that why you wanted to come here with me?
However,
Regardless, that's not something you need to know right now. I don't need to know. That just makes me even more worried.
what?
Worried? Like what happened during the investigation this time? You disappeared and we didn't see you again. Without warning, without explanation. When you do that,
Indeed.
it's only natural that you think I'm the mastermind spy, right? And you too. No. I believe in you.
What?
You believe in me? Isn't it obvious? People believe in their friends, right? That's why I want you to tell me. And I want you to believe in me too. Because we're friends. I understand.
It's true.
Then maybe I can believe in you. Just a little bit more. Then,
That's fine.
fine, I'll tell you. I'll tell you why I've been disappearing and where I've been going. You see, what I heard from Kyoko then was, well, frankly, it kind of blew my mind. Right after I told Kyoko I believed in her, she told me a story that was, well, almost unbelievable. I decided I had to confirm what she told me with my own eyes, so I waited for nighttime to come. And when it did, I went into action.
Correct.
boys bathroom in the second room doesn't have a surveillance camera or monitor in it. And in the storage closet there, way in the back, she said it was way into the back of the boys bathroom storage closet. Could get real by this. I kind of want to end it, but I kind of want to figure out what the heck is going on. It's just a normal storage closet as far as I can tell. The secret Kyoko told me about, could it really be in here? She said it was way in the back of the storage closet, but I mean, seriously? Without thinking, I placed my hand on the back of the storage closet, and suddenly, as if I were yanked in, at the same time as I heard that sound, I fell through the wall. I had no idea what was going on. Making enough noise. I'd fallen through the back of the storage closet. Huh? It turned out, the back wall was like a revolving door and I made my way to the other side. Just like Kyoko had said.
Correct.
The place there's a storage closet, and way in the back of the closet there's a secret room. So this is a secret room, but what's in here? There's a bunch of files and what looks like volume after volume of yearbooks. They're all covered in dust. Looks like everything, one file at the edge of the bookshelf caught my eye. Wolf Peak Academy Student Registry? This is the one thing that's not covered in dust. Had someone looking at it recently? I slipped the file into my hand. Before I had a chance to take a look at it, a slip of paper fell on the file and I turned my attention to it. What's this? You must not leave. That's kind of weird. You can understand, like I said, I can't leave, but you must not leave? What is this? My head feels funny. The strange sensation. It's like deja vu. Those words, you must not leave. I've seen them somewhere before, but can't quite remember. What do I know? What don't I know? Strange sound rang through my head. I felt like it was shaking my brain back and forth, and then darkness. I don't understand what's happening. I don't know what started it. It's all over. And with that, I opened my eyes. I don't know how long it had been. Ow. Apparently something hit me and I lost consciousness. And that's all I understood. Dull throbbing pain in my head proved that much at least. I just ruined all of Kyoko's stuff. An empty bookshelf. Huh? Empty. Gone. It's all gone. The yearbooks, the student registry, and even the note that had fallen on the floor. It's all gone. What does this mean? But my brain refused to work any more work. The insistent pain in my head began to spread across the rest of my body. For now, I should go back to my room. Get some rest. I just ruined everything Kyoko's been working for. My body was heavy with pain, my mind heavy with thought. I dragged myself back towards my room. Somehow I made it back to the first floors of the school. The further I walked, the more I felt. Things are getting blurry, can't see in front of me. I couldn't stop myself from collapsing right there. And after that... As if from a vast distance I heard a sound. It was faint but undeniable. That sound. It's coming from the gym. As I desperately hauled my shaky frame toward the gym, the sound got stronger and stronger. What's going on? Can't be nothing. Here in the gym? I would peek through the door, not open it. I didn't make a sound as I opened the doors to the gym. The sounds coming inside me only intensified that much more. The heck? Before me there raged the battle beyond anything humanly possible. No, one side's not human, that's for sure, but regardless, I couldn't stop staring. I forgot to move or even breathe.
Why, you? What do you think you're doing? I asked you a question. What's the meaning of this? How dare you defy me?
Sakura?
This wasn't part of the deal!
Sakura's the spy?
I've made a decision. I will no longer retreat, no longer compromise, no longer regret. I've made my decision. I'm going to resist you.
Okay.
Wait, what?
But You do realize what will happen if you go through with this, right? You haven't forgotten, have you? What I'm holding hostage?
Hmm? What am I looking at? What am I hearing? A hostage? Then, could it be? The mastermind spy is... Next generation legend, stand tall, galactic hero. The end. 7 students left alive. To be continued. It's like a room of justice. 3 is a crowd. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to end it there. Right at the beginning of, well, I guess between Chapter 3 and Chapter 4. Wow. Okay, so Celeste killed Hifumi. Hifumi killed Taka. Sakura is the mastermind spy. Makoto just screwed up everything Kyoko's been working for. So I wonder how she's going to take that once she finds out all that stuff's been gone. Been taken. And someone knocked us out. Judging by the picture of the person behind us, definitely wasn't Sakura, so I know for a fact that even though she's a spy, someone else knocked us out. There's something else going on. Oh my god. Like I said at the beginning, I now have a new job, so I don't know exactly when I'll be able to live stream this again. I'm going to do my best to continue going, because I want to get to this. I want to get through Volume 2. I need to actually... I need to purchase and download Ultra Despair Girls in Volume 3. Eventually, I'll get there. Yeah, I'm hoping with this new job, I'll have an increase in pay and I'll actually be able to afford both of them. Assuming there's going to be a sale soon. So, anyways, thank you so much for joining me on this little class trial. And I'll see you guys in the next episode of Danganronpa / live stream of Danganronpa. Take care.